Lurker. Time for your checkup. Burns. Morgan was the lurker. What's up, dudes? I got these, Jeremy, what's up? I got these Meister baits. They're very, very Meistery. Very Meistery. And I even obsessively set the eyes as close to perfect as I could to make them fully Meistered. I don't know if the Meisters at Megabass put their own eyes on, or if they have eyeball people. But I have to wear both hats here, unfortunately. So I had to also be an eyeball Meister. Unfortunately, probably the coolest one I only did 2 of. But that's how it goes. Bob, what's up? That's how it goes. Did you catch any fish yesterday? So, and I didn't know that this would turn out like this, but it did, and it's awesome. So I'll probably, Mario, what's up, dude? So I don't know if you can see this. You probably won't. All right. So it's got this like blue shoulder that's got some shiny, it's got some iridescent purple, and it's kind of silvery looking. You can see it right there. But what we've got is we've got a white back. What we've got, as you can see under here, if you can look under the top here, we have chartreuse. So that chartreuse shines through, and you get this very faint ghost looking citrus shad. And when I tell you this damn thing is sexy, and I paint a lot. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, I paint a lot of stuff that I want clear watercolors that are like sneakily bright. You know what I mean? Like a citrus shad, but like the super subtle clear water version, which is hard to do. But this might actually capture it perfectly, because when the bait rolls, you'll be able to see that like flash of color, and it's not much, but like it's just enough to draw attention possibly. But it is very attractive. Very. Just some nerd shit. What's up, AJ? You excited about tonight? We've got this one that I did that everybody liked from last week. It's kind of a play on that other whatever Megabass color, but a little different colorations. But it's interesting if you're ever like walking around the bank or just like fishing in a boat, whatever. Seems like every time I see a minnow or a shad flicking around, they have some like shiny shit on the side, and their backs are always like this browny green color. Like it doesn't matter the watercolor, where you are. Maybe it's my lens. Maybe it's my sunglass lenses that I'm always seeing. Um, but we got that one. This isn't really mega bassy because it's too Americanized. This is more tackle crafty, but sexy nonetheless. It got grouped in with the bunch. It got grouped in with the Meisters. This one isn't. This one isn't so Meistery. It's more me than the other ones. So this is like a yeah, brownish gold. Yeah, that's okay. We see the same thing. Um, this one was a play on Northern Effect, except I did like Northern Effects kind of got this weird goldy yellow that goes across the side. And rather than do that, I used chartreuse. So it's got a transparent chartreuse, and I blued up the back a little bit, so it's a little more. I would say this is a little more Americanized, but it's still in the same vein. I am obsessed. You know why, AJ? Because I have to paint those fuckers again. So I'm trying to stay. Trying to stay sharp. This one is a beautiful specimen, I will say. Like there is not like a lot of times, like nobody would notice it, but and I try and clean them all off and wipe them down with tack rags and everything I can, but still somehow shit gets on baits. But this one is like a damn specimen, dude. Like there is not like that bill is like super clear. Like it might look like there's little specks on it, but I think that's in the plastic. Um, but it is just. I mean, this most of these like for the most part, I don't see really any like micro flaws, if you would want to call them that, nano flaws. Um, like these look like they could come out of the damn Megabass factory. If I could just, if they would just send me their bodies. But that's the. I guess this would be Southern Effect. I'll show up. Oh well. Uh, no, see them just floating in the air. Always find I don't know how. Like I literally will like take all my baits and line them up, and I'll go over them with like a tack cloth, and like I feel like when I do that, it like makes things worse than when I just like in a rush and I just like don't wipe anything down and just go and like blast them. But anytime I try to take like extra steps to like make things better, it seems like there's just shit. I don't know what happens, but Uh, these are pretty beautiful. I will say they're very meistery. I'm glad Tom got his riddle figured out. Daniel, the mystical crankbait was found. Many of you may have seen floating pictures floating around on the interwebs of the mysterious um, uh, neither you I mean mysterious uh, bandit color salad bar it was. We think it's still up for debate. I thought it was salad bar. I thought it was some weird variation. They really chub you up, AJ. They're fun to paint, dude. I'm much rather paint a transparent bait than a opaque bait. Like when I line like 1.5s up to paint, it hurts me sometimes to like spray them white. Um, and I really just like spraying clear baits. They look sexy. They catch fish like insanely well. Um, and they just, I don't know, they just look cool. They just look cool. I feel like you could do more with them too. You get a few more options with transparency. But I wish that one would show up better. That one is that one's a sexy son of a gun. And it's a lot brighter in person. You can't tell it, but like when I hold it up to the light shining through it and like making it dull. But like in person, it's pretty bright. Still can't see it, but and I'm usually not a fan of the downward looking eyes in the 1.5s, but if you put the Megabassy looking paint job on it, um, this has got two BBs in it. This bluegill here has a one knocker. These would be good grass baits. All this color, these are all silent. These are silent. Um, I believe those are all silent. And I believe all the bluegilly looking ones have rattles, and the two little uh, Citrus Meister has rattles. Uh, Kyle, I would like this one. I would like that one. Uh, these I have. Um, these I would like. That's probably my favorite color to paint. If you ask me to go have fun and paint something, I really enjoy throwing paint on a very juvenile bluegill type paint job. That's because there's so many variations of it, and I've done it 10 million times, and I've come close to where I painted one, and I was like, that's it. That's going to be like the standard juvenile bluegill, um, and it never sticks. It's always different. So I revisit it from time to time and play around with it. That one, and you wouldn't think how many different ways you could paint like the same color, but I've somehow figured out to do it 5,000 different ways and pretty much get the same looking thing. Uh, but Burns, I just read your text. Whatever. I'll come take a ride to the dump with me. What are you dumping? Does anybody scrap shit? We got a damn pile of scrap metal out back. I don't know what it's worth. Like, I don't really want to load it all up on a trailer and then take it to the damn scrap yard and then be like, here's $5. You know what I mean? Because then it wouldn't even be worth my gas to get there. Yeah, it wouldn't be worth the trip there. Depends on the metal. We got all types. We got all types. We got all the metals. We did repurpose a trolling motor shaft today. That was good. My dad's trying to build a. He's in the process of building his own spider rig for his boat for crappie fishing. He thinks spider rigging is the answer. So he has built this contraption, and he had this like 3/8 inch all thread that he was going to use to support his crappie pole holder. And I told him, I was like, I don't think that's going to be rigid enough. I don't think it's heavy enough. And so I said, oh, you can make a sleeve out of this stainless trolling motor shaft. He's like, oh, that'll work. So we pulled the head off the trolling motor, or the foot, and see how that works. Barnes, all the ones I've ever caught off our dock had little faint ones. Like, you could barely see them, but they were like very, very much less visible than that. They weren't that, like, they were just like little dark silvery, kind of just like faint bars that I don't know that you would ever see. So half the shit we throw that looks like a shad, fish probably bite, mistaking it for a bluegill. We don't have much copper. I know copper was always going for a lot when the crackheads were stealing people's AC units and shit. Jumping beaver dams does sound inviting, Jeremy, especially in someone else's boat. I think my days of jumping beaver dams in my rig are way gone. But old me would have jumped on that like I was filming a Keith Poche video. Aluminum. We have a lot of aluminum, I believe. I believe we have a lot of aluminum. It's just years of just collecting shit. That just sits out there and makes a big mess. It looks like ass. You know what I mean? It's like let's save all this so we can scrap it, except never scrap it and just live in a big shit pile. Doesn't make much sense. Does anybody else do that? Weigh it separately from the other stuff. So separate the metals is the key, so you don't get hosed. I've never done it. I don't even know where you go. I just want to get rid of some shit. I don't really want them. I'm not really interested in the money. I just want to get the yard cleaned up. Wonder what I could get scrap price for an entire aluminum boat. Few bills, tank of gas. Copper is $2.80 a pound. Stainless is 0.60 a pound. Scrap iron is $220 a ton. Interesting. Travis, what's up, dude? Got your questions? This all looks good. It's a shame I have to wait till tonight because I kind of want to answer them right now. Because when I read them, I started answering them in my brain. I was like, ooh, let's talk about that. But I have to wait. I have to wait. Be patient. I don't have much when it comes. Like, I can be the most patient person in the world, but I don't have much patience when it comes to shit like that. Oh, this morning when I got out of the shower, I was thinking about the weird quirks, like the even numbers on the volume of the TV and like the AC in the truck. Uh, in the morning when I take a shower, I really don't like brushing my teeth after I get out of the shower. I kind of like to do it before I get in the shower. And if I don't, it puts me in a shitty mood. I will be at my son's soccer game. That'll be fun. Tis the season. Dude, they built us a new soccer field right over here by the shop. You go by there on like a Friday night, it looks like a damn Braves game, dude. There'll be like 200 cars out there. People set up. Burns? You might be onto something. Just make the body without the problem is it would float. So you would have to weight it to near almost suspend. It would have to be like a low float so it would stay down. But it's certainly possible to just make a fish shaped body. You're thinking outside the box, Burns. Fuck scrap hauling. My granddad did after he retired, and he tons with plants and AC companies. He made a lot of money doing it. There you go. We have people come by here all the time. Um, that are like, "Hey, we noticed you got a bunch of shit in the back there. You want to sell it?" Not really. Kind of just want to take it to the scrapyard and go sell it. Barnes, I would think lipless body, not a lipless body shape though, not like a rattle trap shape, like something sexier, something sexier. Huh? Interesting concept. That would actually probably make a really badass wake bait. Soccer was the downfall of America. Uh, don't worry, Burns. For every one kid that plays soccer down here, there's 37 that play baseball, and that's it. 12 months out of the year. Baseball is still king in South Alabama, and it will always be that way. Put that blade between the hook hangers on the bottom. AJ, that sounds even weirder. That seems even weirder. All right. I'm trying to think of any oddity. Like, I know people put chatterbait blades on everything, but might, yeah, Lunker Hunt. If you're listening, eat a dick, because you'll screw it up anyway. Burns, I think you're onto something, dude. I think that would be the shit. The cool thing about it was that you could, like, if you made it just almost very slow sync, you could control it really well. You need a blade. I got blades out the yazoo. We'll talk about those tonight. We will talk about blades tonight if you so like. Sounds like the Riser 007 by Jackal. Is that the one with the bill coming straight out of the lip? Or the lip coming straight out of the bait? Isn't that the Riser? Or is the Riser different? Let's look it up. Those are cool baits. We'll talk about a bunch of illegal stuff. Yes, we will. The dark market of bladed jigs. The dark side. That's what I should have made my thumbnail of. It's like the Emperor or Darth Vader holding a chatterbait. What am I looking up? Riser Jackal. Riser 007. Oh yeah. Yeah, except Burns's blade would actually wiggle and not be fixed. I guess Jackal's got some weird shit. They have some weird shit. But if anybody's looking for some meistery things, I'm gonna put these up, and I've got some other crawls and such that I haven't listed yet for some unknown reason to me. I'm gonna put those up tonight or this afternoon. Get some of this stuff moved out. So I don't get any dirty messages. Hey, bro, you don't have shit on your website. Yeah, I know. It'll be twisted into the line tie wire. I don't think so, Burns, because it's not a jig. Isn't there patent on a jig head? Travis, he is. He heard illegal activity and said, sign me up. Sign me up. AJ, do you have a native gill? You're right. I need to build some. Those things frustrate me to no end, though. I cannot tell you. Because they're so effing finicky. Like a split ring will sink them. And when you're trying to make them low float, like you're talking about such little amounts of weight that I'll go and I will float test all of them. And I'll be like, all right, they're all perfect. And then I'll paint them. Paint doesn't add any weight to speak of. And I'll go out there and test them, and I'll have like one or two that'll just like bloop, like float to the top like fast as anything. And then I'll have like one that'll sink, and then I've got to take a painted bait and try and like take or add weight to it, and it's just hugely annoying. Um, but big bait camp would be fun. I'm trying to get a damn. I have a big bait enthusiast that knows way more than I do. That would be awesome, but he doesn't want to talk. So I'm trying to convince him to speak and be on camera. Um, I told him, I was like, dude, it's just me and it's just us girls. Like, chill out. It's not a big deal. He's like, I don't want to. Well, I'd like for you to. It'd be fun. Dude's got an insane amount of knowledge. Taught me a ton. Taught me a ton. And reputable. Uh, None of us fish, and it's true. That is 100% true. None of us fish his waters. There's a person at the mouse's room. So I have to keep whittling away at him. See if I can do some convincing. We'll see. We'll see. Travis, we are. How far are you from Tulsa? You can't be far. What are you, about 5 hours? 4 hours? 4 to 5, yeah. I figured you would be decently close. Um, that's the plan. Josh wants to get a booth, and me and him share a booth and set up Tato and Tackle Kraft, which would be awesome. I've been to every Tulsa Classic. Which one was your favorite? Booker probably would. Daniel, you're talking about, no offense to Brendan or South Jersey, but you're talking about probably less than 10 years of big bait knowledge. I'm talking about 50. Like, lots of knowledge. Like, from its inception. Front runner. Smithsonian type knowledge. The first one, what year was that? Burns, no, you don't have to do that. That's absurd. Uh, it would be cool, but I don't. No. Only if you wanted to sit there and whittle. Only if you were so bored that you felt like whittling. I mean, I think this dude that I'm talking about has caught like a 16 or 17 pounder or something, dude. Like real deal shit. I'm not paying to hear Randy block it. Uh, Dude, I would love to quiz block it. I don't know what I would ask him. I mean, if you had an interview with Randy Blockett tonight, what would be your number one question to Blockett? Because he always says that you can't compete without forward facing sonar, yet he still doesn't have forward facing sonar and keeps competing. So that seems dumb. Um, I don't know, dude. Uh, yeah, why does he even fish still? If you make it a point that nobody can compete, uh, where you want to do you think I have the potential to be one of whom? Why are you such a tool? Who's a tool? Not a tool? Oh, you're gonna ask Randy why he is such a tool. Is Randy one of whom? That would be really funny. I don't think. How like Jekyll and Hyde would that be if it came out that he was like that guy? Why have you only won twice and never in the MLF? Uh, why are you so sensitive? Why do you still fish? Why are you such a tool? Has his $10 jig ever caught a fish? Uh, all great questions for Randy. What do you think he would do if I said, Randy, I really appreciate you coming on the show. We've got a great group of guys here. Everybody's real, we're a tight knit group. We know what's going on. Everybody knows each other. You're in good hands. I'm going to start off with some questions that the campers have submitted. So first, we'd like to know why are you such a tool? It'd be like, where is this going? Okay, we'll go to the next question. Why are you so sensitive? Like, I'm not sensitive. I just, like, okay, I'll skip that one. Why do you even fish still? I will say, I watched a video recently, like in the last couple of days of Blockit, and he got a new camera, and I don't like it. I don't know if it's just me or if anybody else has noticed it, but I can see his face too clearly, and I don't like it. It's not like it's too clear. Like in the background's out of focus, and it focuses like very sharply on him, and I can see too much of his face. It creeps me out. I wish he'd go back to the blurry like iPhone 8. Ooh, now you're getting real wild. Burns. He would just hang up. Uh, like, well, block it. Just before we get going, I got a little housekeeping I'd like to do. First off, what the fuck is Bridgeford? Why did it take me 6 years to figure out that they make beef jerky? That's your job, and you did a real shitty one of it. Next little housekeeping. Um, how do you sleep at night selling people a $10 melty living rubber shit jig? which I really don't think his jigs are that bad. And I'm not offended by his price at all, because I know I'm such a bad production jig maker. I would have to charge $25 to sell a damn jig, especially if I was laying rubber together. Um, Go back to hiding behind the wooden fence, Wilson. Uh, it's like you got an ultra high def camera, but from a no name. Yeah, it for sure is one of those. Oh yeah, it was definitely a home improvement reference. He has tons of fans, but haven't seen a single photo of one hanging out of fish's mouth. Probably, I don't know. The thing about jigs is like a crankbait. You can have like one prized crankbait, and you can keep it, and you can spend a lot on it, and it's like a splurge. You know what I mean? But you're not gonna like there's so many variations of, and there isn't crankbaits, but jigs are different. I feel like if you find a jig you like and you want to like fill up a box, like you're like, oh, I really like this jig. Now I need five of each color in three different sizes. So I need like 60 jigs. Like that's a lot of that's. I mean, you gonna spend $700 on damn jigs? Yeah, something that you lose pretty often. Like you don't really lose crankbaits that much, um, or you shouldn't lose crankbaits that much. I will say, but jigs, that's kind of like the point of a jig is to like put it where you're probably going to lose it. Uh, like you can get a jig in lots of places that you could never even think about getting a damn crankbait. Um, so uh, it's just one of those things that you can assume that you're going to lose. Like when I go out and fish a crankbait, I'm not I'm not planning on losing it. But if I'm fishing a jig, I know that it's very high likelihood that I can lose that, and I'm okay with that. Um, I lost the only rock crawler that was catching fish this past weekend, and you only had one. What's up, Rich? AJ from Horseshoe Customs only had one magic rock crawler. Next question: did you paint it? And don't lie. If it was stock, say it's stock. AJ, we're being transparent here. Only one in that color, and he did paint it. Okay, and he's being truthful. Well, you know what's going to happen now. You're going to go home and paint yourself 10 of them, and you're never going to get another damn bite on it. That's how that shit works. I have played that game. Oh man, that's the best color I've ever painted in my life. Let me go paint everything I own in that color, and then you will. That's like the kiss of death. Every time I go, I plan on losing everything I have to own. I mean, that's not a bad way to look at it, because then when you go home with your baits still, you're like, hey, I might not have caught much, but I brought my baits back home. But yeah, I mean, I think especially with uh, but it depends on like everybody's seen. Travis, you might be one of those guys that like everything is disposable, no matter what the quality. I've fished with guys like that that you could give them the most rare, like Japanese handcrafted, one of a kind, like riddle bait, and be like, here, throw this. Like you can have it. It's a $600 crankbait, and they'll make three casts with it, and like get like a little bit hung on a twig, and just be like, all right, uh, find me another bait. It's like, did you really just break that off? I'm like, yeah. Like you're not gonna go get it? No. Well, whatever. but there I've fished with multiple people that, which is good for the fishing industry, the tackle industry, that there's those guys that will break off shit in a heartbeat and never think twice about it. Um, all tools are expendable. I guess you're right. It hurts my feelings a little to break off one of my baits. Yeah, I will go to the ends of the earth to get something back. Like if I get hung on a log or like break my line or something, which never happens with big game, but if some rare circumstance I did, um, the one of the tricks that saved my ass is keeping a net in the boat and using that for the like if you're on a stump or a tree or something, I'll just like stick the net and like drag it down the log and just sit there and like jug it around. And usually you can like snag your bait. Um, so that's saved my ass a bunch. I think I want to say my most memorable retrieval was there was a log laying down in the water and I'd gotten hung on it and I was trying to like you know how everybody's done this and it's funny, but like you get your crankbait hung and there's a stretching and pulling point where you're like this is either about to come loose or my line's about to break, and you give it that extra little like this much and it either comes loose or you're like shit I broke my line. And I was doing that one day and I was you were at that tipping point and you're like, oh, do I give it a little more? And you know, I feel like 70-80% of the time it'll just go boom and like the bait will pull off. But so I pulled and I gave it that extra little something and then popped the line. I was like, shit. So I was like, well, I know my bait's down there. So I took my boat and rammed it up on top of the log and started like jumping up and down on the boat, and the boat was like shaking the log. And I'll be damned if that son of a bitch didn't float up after me jumping on the log and shaking the log. So that was one of my shining moments of bait retrieval. I've actually done that a couple times, but not with the boat. Usually, I can if I can reach the tree or the limb, I can usually just shake it real good and get it to like come loose. But the other good one I had, I remember this. I was uh, I was much younger, and I was cranking in some trees, and I had the fish. Uh, I had a fish bite my bait and like pull me down in the tree and broke off. I was like, "Fuck, that was a good bait." And the fish jumped up and like jumped with the bait in his mouth, and he actually threw the bait and it like landed like right by the boat. It's like, oh, thanks. So I went back and picked that one up. Um, yeah, hella. I was trying to get some hooks on some baits put on the webs tonight or this afternoon. But I'm about to go finish paint or start painting some more plugs. Um, we're talking about getting baits unhung, losing baits, tactics to get them free, the net, shaking the limb of the tree they're in, uh, alternatives to lure retrievers. Um, YouTube juggernaut. That's right. It's just going to turn into the Truman Show pretty much, where I just walk around, just video, YouTube live my life. Um, Jeremy, I will say, I think the longest I've ever spent trying to get a bait back was I spent 45 minutes one time trying to get a bait back. and it was like insanely long in poking your rod down trying to get something back. Um, uh, I took 20 minutes one time. Um, I remember this fish. I got a picture of this fish. Let's see. I can tell you the story behind it if I can find it within a decent amount of time. Uh, my Facebook profile. I want to go to photos. I want to go to albums. Let's see. There's Kentucky Lake. What year was this? This will be 2012. All right, this goes back to Chatterbait days. All right, it's good to know. All right, Kansas, Orleans. Let's find out. I need it's wintertime. Snowing. It's a little freaky looking fish. There it is. Um, so look at this fish. So this is not your average Alabama River fish. Um, the reason being was because this fish, I believe, was like 17 inches long. It was super short, but it was like growth stunted lengthwise, and it just quit growing long and just grew like wide and fat. So I measured this fish, and I thought it was oddly short, and it was 17 inches, but it weighed 4.7 pounds, and it was January 29th, 2007. So I caught this fish January 29th, 2007. Um, and I was fishing a tree in the river, and I felt this weird something. And I was pitching a jig, and I felt this weird something on my jigging pig, and I just kind of set the hook, not knowing what it was, and it was pretty much hook set to like stuck in the tree. And Jody was with me, and I was like, that really felt like a fish. And he was like, nah, nah. And 4.7 pounds, 4.7 pounds. It was nearly 5 pounds, but it was 17 inches long. It was a freak. Like fish down here usually get long. Like if you catch a 5 pounder and it's like 24 inches long, that's not like rare. Um, but I know people are like, oh, you caught like a 25 incher. That's like a 10 pounder. I feel like fish get really long and lean down here. Um, but anyway, so I kept telling Jody, I was like, dude, I really feel like deep in my loins that was a bite. And he's like, no, that wasn't a bite. I was like, I think it was. So I didn't want to break off because I felt like it was a fish. And I tried, and I think it took me about 20 minutes to get the bait undone. And finally, after dicking around trying to get my line undone or whatever, when you think you have a fish on there, you never want to reel down to it. You know what I mean? Because you're like, oh, I'm gonna just like poke it out of its mouth. So the last like after like 15, 20 minutes of dicking with this thing, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna like reel down to my jig and see if I can like poke it out. So I'll be damned if I didn't reel down and like poke it out, and this damn 4.7 17 incher is stuck to my jig, on the end of my pole. And I like reached down there and grabbed it and pulled it up. And Jody was like, "Holy shit, where'd that come from?" I was like, "Dude, I told you I got a bite." And he's like, "The fish was really on your jig?" I was like, "Yes, that's what I just dug out of that tree." And he's like, hmm. So yeah, like I said, it was such a non-fishy feeling bite, but there was just something. It felt like a bite, but I never felt the fish move or anything. It's like I set the hook and like stuck him to the tree, and he just sat there. I don't know. I don't know how that happens. Probably would have felt that bite had I not been using big game, but got him in. Got him in. I have a hound dog and an auto wind system. Send it down, knock it loose. There you go. As far as getting something unhung on water, a retractable dog leash and the bass pro knocker with the chains for that extra set of chains. That's got everything for shaky as the depth 250s. Yeah, those are good, Jeremy. I like that myself. That's the ones I use. What's up, Brendan? Um, you're just in time for the outro because I'm about to jet out of here. Uh, Thank you, sir. There she is. Can't can't see anything. It just looks like a white wake bait. You can kind of see some. Nope, still can't. Um, I'm gonna have to get me some special camera for showing nice baits colors, or I really need to dick with the lighting in here. That might help. No, Jeremy, I think it definitely has striper written on it, uh, and it can certainly handle a striper. So if you happen to win it, maybe that'll be your striper go-to. It does look stripery though, not just because it has stripes all over it. We'll see. Yeah, I got to get my Brendan. I got to get my lighting situation in here going so I can. It really pisses me off when I want to show stuff off, and uh, white baits are always uh, uh, washed out. Shad's Pond. Oh, my favorite time of year. My favorite time of year. All right, Anthony. See you later. Um, all right. I guess I'll talk 2 more minutes before I'll give it. I'll give it a good hour. They are, Brendan. They are. White to me is the worst. I can usually get black to show up half-ass decent, but white just washes out to looks like a damn light bulb. Maybe I need like some sort of background to put in front of me and then put my arms around it and be like, here you go. Could I do that? Put this here. Nope, still doesn't work. Still doesn't work. I looked at doing that, Brendan, and it looked like it was more of a pain in the ass than it would be worth. But it might if I could stream off my Lumix, that would be pretty cool. And then I can actually get more use out of that camera. All right, I've made it to my allotted. Brennan, what size hands do you have? What size gloves do you wear? If you have a Costco near you, go in Costco. They've been having nitrile gloves for a 100 pack for like $13. So the XL sold out at our store pretty quick, but they do have lots of larges and mediums. Um, but or anybody else that needs nitrile gloves, 100 packs at Costco. You need to find gloves that fit your hands and your fingers. They fit my fingers good, but this section here always pulls, and I have like this reoccurring pain because it's like this part pulls my hands down, and it like gives me like arthritis in my hands. So I always have to like try and like stretch them out right there to give me a little room in the ball of my right there in that section. That's why I prefer to wear gloves that have been worn because I've already stretched them out and they fit a little better. Like a new pair of gloves always feels like ass. Um, Large fingers, 3XL palms, baseball mitts. You need to get into arm wrestling, AJ. Start arm wrestling, bro. You got a future. But anywho, all right, dudes. Good talking to y'all. We'll see y'all tonight on the Patreon, the Tackle Camp, chatterbaiting with AJ. That was for body strength. You doing those airbrush curls, bro? All right, we'll see y'all. Be good.